Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes. How long you worked now?
It's my third week.
Oh, third week. Okay. After 3 weeks later, then if you get a paycheck, think of your scholarship. No, I'm joking. Okay. Thank you.
I'm
Thank you.
getting next this week.
Okay, great. Okay,
Okay.
so I truly appreciate that. Please share your experience because
Mm-hmm.
you just recently graduate and also you join the market. You can see what's
Mm-hmm.
going on there. Okay, yes.
Sure. Sure, sir.
Okay, so Harrison, now your turn. I will be quiet. Okay.
All right, thank you, Sam. Um, anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to our invited talk this week. We got our guest speaker here, Manjot, with us, and he is going to share with us some experience in how to apply for jobs after you graduate. And he's going to share some experience with his journey in City University of Seattle. So, Manjot, please go ahead.
Thank you, Harrison, and everybody who is joining. So, a lot of you, I think, I already met. And yeah, so I recently graduated from CDU, and then I have a presentation with me, so I'll just share my screen. I think I cannot share my screen, Harrison. Only the organizers can share. I'm getting a message that I cannot share my screen.
Let me let me see what I can do about that.
Mm-hmm.
He should be able to share. That's the thing.
Only meeting organizers and presenters can share. Now I can see the button. I can share it now. Mm-hmm.
You should be able to share now. Okay.
Yeah. Can everybody see my screen now?
Yeah.
All right. So when Harrison reached out to me, I thought like what topic to present, so I can probably share my journey, how I prepare for the jobs, and my approach, what approach that I followed. So yeah, let's get started. So I will be talking about prepare for the tech jobs, efficient way. So there is a lot of resources on the internet, and it's very easy to get lost between all the available knowledge that's out there. So we can like skim through like what exactly that is required and how can you do it efficiently. So I'll start with about me, a little bit about me. So I joined CTU in January 2024. 6th January 2024 was the first day at CTU. And throughout the process, I think I made so many friends. I had so great experience. I joined like hackathons, events, and tours, trips to Mount Rainier, company visits, and whatnot. So the entire journey has been so great for me. I am like really grateful for all the experiences that I had, the teachings from the teachers and the course curriculum. I think everything was so smooth. And yeah, everything helped me a lot. So these are a few of my pictures, my friends, and with the team I worked at CTU in the middle one, Antonio and Kirti. And that's on the right, that's my first picture at the Meta. So that was my day one. I was so excited. So story about this one is, so there are like, so I am into the Palo Alto campus of Meta, and there are like two campuses. One which is the classic campus and one which is the new campus. This is the classic one, and it's like it seems like a Disneyland because it has very cozy vibes and all. The new one that I created that has corporate kind of feel. It's very modern and it feels like you're in the corporate jungle or something. But this one is all sunny and it's very cozy. So that's the picture over there. So yeah, that's about me. So I told you like I have graduated on March 2025. So I spent around 15 months or so at CDU. And while I was preparing for the jobs, I started applying very early before my graduation so that it gives me enough time to explore the market, what's going on, and test my waters. Like before I started applying for my dream jobs or dream companies, I spent a lot of time researching the market, working on my resume and what works and what not, because I'm coming from India, so the market is little different in United States. So I wanted to see how it works, how is the response from the recruiters when I apply for the resume. So whatever worked for me, I tried on. August 2024 is when I started applying. I started working on my resume, doing some tweaks and all. So from there on, I think September onwards, I started getting calls. So I will share my experiences, what changes I made, and what worked for me. But before that, I will talk about the preparation. So this is what my preparation fundamentals has been throughout this time. So people who already talked to me, some of my friends, they know that I preach this thing a lot. Even if you talk to me 6 months from now, I probably give you the same framework because this is not going anywhere. It doesn't matter what role you're preparing for, whether you're preparing for software engineering, data analysis, ML, or AI, or whatever is there. This is going to be the framework that is going to work for you. We'll talk about these four steps one by one. First is CS fundamentals. So when we talk about CS fundamentals, so we all are into the computer science background right now. So even if you apply for the data analysis job or the software engineering jobs or any kind which is like from the medium tech knowledge to extreme core engineering knowledge, you need to have your CS fundamentals clear. You need to know how computer works in general. So even if you don't have enough time to go deep into the concepts, like you cannot go into the networking layer or the computer architecture, I would still recommend to spend at least a 1 week on how the computer works. Find out good YouTube videos, like 1 hour long videos. Spend at least 2 hours in that entire 1 week of time to get your CS fundamentals clear, because that's the basis of everything. You're the software engineers, you're going to be the data analysis, something. It all works on the computer. So if you don't get that thing out of your way, that's going to be difficult. All right. So the second thing is coding language. Pick any coding language, to be honest. Like we overthink a lot. I want to go for the front end. I want to go for the back end, data analysis. I need this. Java is better. JavaScript is better. TypeScript, this and that. Just start with something. And my recommendation is probably go with the Python and SQL. The reason for that is Python right now is very versatile as of now. You can do a number of things. You can do software engineering. You can do data analysis, ML workflows, and whatnot. So it's a very versatile language. There is a lot of use cases. So getting started with Python, if you're new, then that is my recommendation. But again, it is not bounded only to Python. And with the Python, you would also want to go with the SQL as well. So the combination of Python and SQL gives you a very good start on getting started with your preparation job. So coding part will be covered with the Python. And if you want to go for any data related jobs, you will be dealing with SQL a lot. There is no escaping from dealing with SQL. First book, so I think I skipped that part. In the CS fundamentals, I wanted to talk about. This is the very first book I read on the data structures with C, and I did not know a word about like C, how to write code in C, but data structures is the fundamental concepts again. So you don't need to implement in a particular language. You can do that, but just to understand what an array is, what is a list, what is a graph or a tree, those are the computer science fundamentals. They are not tied to any programming language. You don't have to implement it. And if you want to implement it, you can implement it in any language. For example, I learned what a tree is. I learned what a graph is. So you can implement the graph tree in any kind of language, Java, Python, SQL, C Sharp, Rust, whatnot. So getting your computer science basics on one side and then implementing them is are two separate things. Don't mix them up, but cover your fundamentals first and then move ahead to the specific things. So choosing your coding language is important. Getting started is very important. So my recommendation is Python and SQL. But again, if you already know a little bit about one of the language, you can easily get started with another. So don't overthink it and just get started. Next is programming skills. Do I have something? Okay, yeah. Before programming skills, let's talk about this one. So when I talk about coding language, I talk about Python and SQL. What do I mean by this? So when I say like learn coding language or like get started with something, you don't need to think about the logics or all the complex problems that you can solve. Right now, for example, I choose to Uh, you guys can still see my screen. Can somebody confirm because some pop-up came on? Anybody confirm if you can see my screen? All right. So when I say like get started with any of the language, then what? what do I mean by that is don't think about the logic or any complex problems. Just know this thing that how to create an array, how to create a vector, how to write loops, how to deal with collections. If I talk to, for example, you learned English, right? You learned English, and I am telling you to write a sentence. So while I'm speaking, you are typing. So whatever I speak, you are able to type it. And you learn Chinese or you learn French or something. As I'm speaking, you're able to write what I'm speaking. Similarly, if I tell you a logic about something, like write this, then you should be able to write it in Python, just like any other language. So you need to be at that level of the choice of your programming language that if I say something, if I speak a logic, then you should be able to write it. And this is about getting comfortable with the language. So you should be comfortable with the syntax, how to create the collections, how to write the loops and all, so that while you're in the interview, you don't have enough time to think about the logics, right? So, for example, if I'm into the interview and I don't even know, or I have to think about how to create a dictionary, how to create a map, how to access an element in a dictionary. That is going to consume at least 10 seconds of my time. And then every second in the interview is going to cost you the result of that interview. So be very, very, very comfortable with the choice of your language. If you're going with a Python, then be very comfortable with the Python. If you're going with a SQL, know all the common functions, how grouping works, how joins work, window functions works, everything. So it is just the way you speak English, you should be able to speak this language as well. Next on this slide is programming skills. Whether you love it or hate it, interviewers need to test you on something. They need to test how smart you are. And right now, the framework they have in place is coding problems. So maybe in the future, they might invent something else which can test your skills. But right now, solving coding problems is the only way that interviewer can access how smart you are for the job. And again, whether you love it or hate it, you have to develop that coding logics and all that. So when I say programming skills, I'm talking about the logics. So for the logics, you have to solve the lead code questions. That's the best possible method. I won't give you like there are other platforms as well. This worked for me. A lot of interviews that I have given during this time, and I have given so many since before I graduated, a lot of 90% of the questions are from lead code. Like only 10% or maybe at 15% will be something which I've never seen before. Some of the companies they created something new, but most of the companies they ask the direct questions from the lead code, or even if it is not a direct question, it will be a very similar question. If you have solved enough questions, you'd be able to recognize the pattern very well. So it's all about the practice. Once you have learned the language, start solving questions on that language. If you are going for the data jobs, start exploring the SQL. You have this very nice option on the lead code. You can filter it out. And my one thing that worked for me is first thing is I solved all the top interview questions. When you go to the lead code side, when you go to the explore section or the problem section, you will see a big blue section there that says top interview question. This is just 150 questions. So if you solve 150 questions, I think you're covered, you're good for like 70 to 80% of interviews. So I first solved the top interview questions. After that was done, then I went to the problem sections. I solved the questions by frequency. So you can sort it out, and I have this little filter button on the left. So you can sort it by frequency, and then all the famous problems who are very frequently asked in the interviews, they will be coming up onto your screen and start solving it. This is my number. I solved around 353 questions out of easy, medium, and hard. And I'm telling you, this is not a huge number. It is not to show off or anything. There's just a very practical number that you can achieve if you start solving two questions a day from now on. Just imagine how much you can solve in 6 months. So it's a very achievable number. Uh, some of these questions I've solved in my past as well. You can say like 90 to 80 questions I've solved. Rest of those I solved from the time from August till March. So this is what I did, and you can do it as well. So this is the logic part. I think for these, out of these, all we have covered first, second, and the third. The fourth one is niche expertise. Once you have covered your first three, you will be able to see when I talk about niche expertise. Now you can start going into the particular direction. I want to be a front-end engineer. I want to be a back-end engineer. I want to be a data analyst, ML engineer, AI engineer. So there are a lot of options. And now at this point, if you have covered one, two, and three in a good manner, like with your full heart, then it's not going to be too difficult for you to choose your niche and perform well in that niche. And one tool I would like to share with you all is called roadmap.sh. It is a very good website that I have on. So when once you go there, it's called roadmap.sh/roadmaps. So you can see all the roles are listed there. Front-end beginner, back-end beginner, QA, iOS, or whatnot. There are so many. Some of them I never even heard about. So if you click on any of this, on the right-hand side, I clicked on the data analyst, and you can see all the map is there. Like whatever you need to do to get an expert level to that role, it will list it out. So in the beginning, it might feel like you have never even heard about that word or what exactly it is. I'm so lost in everything. But trust me, it's just a one Google search away. For example, I have never heard about what cleanup or visualization is. Simple Google search data visualization will give me so many things. You will see the tools like Power BI and Tableau and whatnot. So if you stuck at somewhere you don't know about it, just do a Google search, ask your peers, ask about people around you, take help. Doing nothing is very easy, but doing something is very difficult. So do something, work on your roadmap once you have covered everything. At this point, you are good with your own preparation. So with yourself, you have done your best, you have given your 100% to work on yourself. Now let's work on some of the external factors so that you need to control. Okay, so let's talk about the resume. So resume is something that keep puts you out there. It's people know you from your resume. Recruiter don't cannot really see you unless you meet them personally using hackathons and stuff. So resume is a very powerful thing. So it speaks or it sells you to the market for the job. So vague resume, never do that. Detailed resume is obviously the good choice to go for. So when I say vague resume, what do I mean by that? For example, if I know Python, I know Java, I'm just claiming that in my skill section I'm lighting that skills Java, skill Python, but there is nothing to support that fact no Java or not. So in a detailed resume, I will mark down the technologies that I know, and in the project section or in the other section, there should be supporting facts that I know Java. There should be projects that should be created in Java, and there should be proper GitHub links to those projects. So detailed resume, go like pay attention to the details and never talk about what project does. So they are not interested in the project. For example, if you have worked on a large scale project, people are not interested about the project. People are interested about what you did in that big project. So even if I make one API change or if I made a one line of change in that big project, people are more interested in knowing that one line of change instead of the entire project. You will get time to explain your project when you get into the interview, but for now, just say what you did and all the technical skills that you're listing in your resume, there should be proper supporting links in the projects. So resume is not the recruiter is not your friend, or they don't know me who I am. So the resume is the only thing that can talk for me. So make your resume talk for you. All right. Another thing is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is very important. Okay. So don't be the guy on the top who reached out to me. Let's take a look on the left. So if you're asking about the referrals, don't just, hey, Manjot, do you have a job opening for me? Like, I don't know this person who is, and they're asking me to find a job for them on the career portal that they can very well do on their own. It's a very like not so good kind of message when you're asking for the help for the referral or something. On the bottom left, you can see that there is a proper message from somebody who is asking for a referral request. They have created a subject very nicely done, like referral request, and then they are asking me for a job opportunity, and they have given a link to the job that they are interested in, and then they have attached their resume. So I can clearly say that this is the candidate. I probably take a look at their resume. If it matches well, I probably refer them as well. So go for the way that listed in the left, right. Second is in your profile again, link if you're not applying for the job somewhere, then LinkedIn is something by which people reach out to you for the jobs that you haven't applied for. If there is a job and people search for the people like you, LinkedIn is the place they will go for. So you can see that profile, some random profile is there. There's not a real person named Nicole. So zero followers, no activity, no profile picture. This kind of a dead profile to me. I don't know if the person even exists or not. On the bottom right, this is like a screenshot from my profile, but you can see that you're very welcome to visit my profile and see what all things I have done. But something that worked for me, I have seen as in the LinkedIn search. Sorry. So when you think of LinkedIn as a product, like from a product point of view, the profiles that has more details or the profiles that are very well created, LinkedIn will show them in the top when people are searching for them. For example, if there are like 100 software engineers in the same area, so people are searching for the software engineer, then my profile probably would come up in the first 10 people or the first 50 people just because my profile has so much content and it's very well created and all that. So tips for that is if you have some licenses and certificate, don't shy away to show them on your LinkedIn profile, show them with the credentials, show them all your education details, your projects, your everything. And you can try to be active as well. Try to comment on people's posts. It increases your visibility. There's a very well socially connected graph, and it's very important. I've got I got reached out by a lot of recruiters on LinkedIn just because I was active there. They could see my profile, even if it's a very vague kind of job profile. They would still reach out to me just because my profile was visible to them. So do that. Make sure you're utilizing LinkedIn very well. Uh, Last thing I would say is take advantage of the location. Seattle is just so amazing, and there are so many companies. There's a network of all the Amazon employees, Microsoft, all the big companies out there. Go out there, network, and make use of the tech clubs that are available on the university. So we made use of it when I was there. We were on the hackathons. We tried to participate in the class. We tried to brainstorm on some of the ideas. So everybody they did some participation in some form or the other, and I think it worked wonders for all of them. And yeah, you should try that as well. If there is no club activity going on, I encourage you to do something. Like you are the one who start an activity if there is no activity. So do something, take advantage of the campus and the location. Before ending it, I would like try to add with some motivation or so. It's very easy to give up, trust me. If you give up, then congratulations, you have joined like thousands other who are doing nothing. But it's not easy to do that 1% of work. So there is a growth formula. If you stay same all day, then for the 365 days, you will be like the same. There will be no change at all. But if you do the 1% of work, then it will be 37.78% of change throughout that year. So doing that little extra effort every day takes a lot of energy. It's not easy, but easy things, like hard things don't come easy. Like so there is some motivation, and yeah, that's my short and sweet presentation. If you have any questions, it's open for everybody to ask. I'll stop sharing my screen now.
Wow, thank you, Manjot. Those were some really helpful tips. Does anyone have any questions for Manjot here?
I okay, I have a question because Manjo, you said, if you just do two of these a day over a period of 6 months, you'll have it really well organized. How did you keep yourself on track, and how would you recommend other people do that? And did you have to practice something more than once?
Yeah, so doing two questions in a day in the start, it can be very overwhelming or it can be very hard. So you can start one question by one question a day. Even if you do that, that's 30 questions a month and 60 questions in 2 months, and you're already on the right track. then you can start doing two questions by each day. I think for me, that work for me is I have a goal in mind. I know that I need to do it. There is no way around. So there is no escaping from solving that coding questions. If I want to go for the big tech companies, I know that is the door that I have to cross. So just keeping that thing in mind, like there is no shortcut to that. So I have to solve it. So that's the only thing that would keep me on track for that. I try to follow a strict schedule, even if the day is too long for me, or if I have done something like it is taking a lot of my energy, I still try to keep like 1 hour aside for the studies or the works that I'm doing. Being a full-time student gave me that advantage. My only job, my literally only job is to study right now. So even if I don't do that, I don't know if I deserve anything or not. So um, but even if you're busy with your other jobs or something, I would still say, so for me, my goal was 1 hour a day. At minimum, I have to do it. If I was not able, so that was the minimum. But I was studying like 4 to 3 hours a day as well whenever I didn't have anything else to do. But if somebody who is into other jobs or busy, I would say keep a goal of 1 week. So in 1 week, set aside like 5 hours. You have to study for 5 hours. In that 5 hours, it is very much possible to do at least two questions. So your goal can be different from mine. So you can set your own number, whatever works for you. And depending on how much time for you, for example, some people have 1 year from now, they're just getting started with the masters. So I have 1 year, so I can able to solve two questions a week. So that will also work for me. So according to what time you have, how much bandwidth you have, you can set your own goal.
Thank you. So I have a question, and I want to see
Sure.
this is to everybody else on the call. I would like to see either a thumbs up or a heart for everyone who is now willing to start working a minimum of 4 hours a week to do this. And I realize some people are working, but at the same time, I'm just wondering. So, okay, I see
I see
some.
a lot of thumbs
I
up.
see some, but I don't see everybody. Now, I also want to point out that it doesn't matter whether you are, I'm sorry, I'm on the train, on the MSCS, MSCY, MSAI, MSDS, undergraduate. This applies to everybody. Okay, so that was my question.
Mhm. No, that's right. I mean, so depending on what you're trying to do, whether into MBA or like any other kind of program, you can set your own goal. Like I would say, like spend one month of time if you want to have that, but create a structured plan for you. Create a short term and the long term plan, because without a plan, you will just be as lost as anybody. Like there is no point of working towards something if you don't have a plan in mind. So discuss with your mentors, with your peers, create a plan. Spend good amount of time in planning, but don't just stuck on the planning. Plan it, keep it aside, and like keep working on that plan.
So it's about consistency and repetition, right?
Yeah, that's right.
On the topic of doing, we're gonna get to some people because I saw some hands being raised again. But on the topic of doing questions and leak coding, leak codes, we have an SDE skill coding interview preparation for everybody on campus. It should happen every Tuesday or Thursday, depending on the schedule. So if anyone can join, feel free to. We would be we would welcome you guys here. And if you cannot join our session on campus, we also have one um, online where we're gonna talk more about system design. But again, you're more than welcome to join.
I'll tell you an interesting story about SD skills. So this is a very concrete example, and I'll tell you the exact question as well. So I had my interview with Amazon, and there are like multiple rounds. And one of the Amazon interviews, I got the exact coding question that I was solving in that SD skills. And that question is a house robber problem. It's very famous problem. It's there on the lead code. And we were just solving and talking about it. And I was actually I happened to solve that on the board for me. Like it was a good refresher for me. So I had solved that problem earlier as well. But because of the fact that I was solving it on the board and explaining to everybody else as well on the room, I was able to communicate that problem so very well to my interviewer. He was impressed by the way I was just explaining. He knew that people can solve it because it's a famous problem, but the way I explained that problem and then I covered the edge cases and all, that was an extra point for me in that interview, and it worked for me. So try attending these skills. If you have time, you never know. Like if you solve the question, you may see this in your next interview.
Thank you, Manshot. Again, stay tuned on our schedule and our announcement. Whenever we have an SD skill session going on, you will see them in the announcement. So just keep an eye on.
Any other question, guys?
Axel Subrov, I'm not too sure if I pronounced the name correctly. He asks, are you on an F1 visa?
Yes, I am.
So is how's that affect your job application or job applying processes? Can you
Sure.
elaborate?
So I think it's a very valid question. Don't shy away to asking these kind of questions because these are the important things. We are all, like a lot of us are like international students, and these things would come up. But again, the good companies will not care about your visa status. If you are the right candidate, they have a like army of lawyers to get your visa thing sorted. So as long as they see the value in interviewing you and the result of interview is positive, the visa is not a problem. Only some of the companies, it's a sad reality that they will see that we cannot afford the visa for now. But again, you have to keep applying, right? You never know like which company is going to offer the visa for you because they will now either the company is directly list on the job like profiles, but your job is to keep applying. You should be applying to 10 jobs a day at minimum. If you're actively into the job market and want to interview the right next day, apply to at least 10 companies a day. And yeah, the good companies will not care. They will just apply the visa for you, and the process is very smooth. You will not face any problem at all. You will simply apply for your OPT, get your all things sorted, and the staff on the CTU, they will help a lot. I've been in touch with John, Sabine's team on the campus, and whatever question you have, I think they answer it right next day when you send an email.
Thank you. Um, oh, did someone just join? Never mind. Again, thank you, Misha. Just so you guys know, if you are irreplaceable in their eyes, then they will do all what they can to keep you guys around.
Mhm.
And that's kind of what I learned during my process in Canada and job searching and securing a job. So yeah, very much the same thing applies here.
Right.
Does anyone else have any questions for Benja?
You can type your question in the chat if you don't want to speak up.
So there are
Do you
two
have the
questions.
chat or? Oh, yeah, please go ahead.
The first one is, what kind of certificates are employer mostly looking for? From my,
Okay. Uh, so they will be looking for the certificates that are very closely aligned to your job or the role that you're applying for. That's the short answer. And I'll give you the examples. For example, my role was completely into the software engineering. So the roles that are, or the certificates that are good for me or that are closely aligned to my roles, those are all of the cloud certifications. If I have any Java kind of certification, language certifications, those are the one for me. If you're applying for the data analyst kind of job, right? So that's a different that works with data. So you would probably want to get some Oracle kind of certifications, or you can also try for the different parts in the cloud side as well, cloud for data engineering, or you want to get some courses done on the Tableau as well. For example, you don't need to get a certification. That's not the only uh, thing, right? If you get a learn from a course from Coursera as well, right? So that can
Mhm.
also be a valid proof of knowledge in your resume because Coursera provide you with a completion certificate. It's not a certificate kind of thingy that you do a test and have to pass it. You just complete the course and they provide you with course, and recruiters do recognize that this is something that candidate has done. So it's about like doing nothing versus having something in your resume. But coming back to the question, not deviating from it, is whichever is close to your role that you're applying for, do some research on that and apply. Start getting the certification in that. For example, in a cybersecurity space as well, getting a Linux certification is also very useful. So it's based on the kind of role that you're applying is what the certification you should get.
Right. And on that note, I noticed that there are some Google certificate being offered on Coursera's, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so definitely aim for those if that helps your case.
Mhm. And all these
Now,
things, they will look good on your resume. You won't be wasting any time in that, I'm sure. Whichever, so all these are recognized names. So don't get some certificate from a very random university that nobody ever heard about. But all these big names, people have heard about it. Coursera, Google certification programs, AWS and all. So try to get those certification that people know about and then they can relate to. For example, resume, the recruiter will spend like few seconds on your resume, and if they see a relatable word, oh, Coursera certificate, oh, Udemy certificate, this, and all that, they know that, okay, this candidate has done something. I probably give him a call and ask more about it.
thank you, Manjot. Now, on to the other questions. I am a veteran. How do they treat veterans?
Yeah, I think there is a specific section in the job application. You can apply for being a veteran there. I'm not sure about how the profile is screened if you're a veteran or not a veteran, but the fact that they have a specific section for that to check mark for the separate application, I do believe that there may be some different kind of screening process for that kind of example. A recruiter will probably be a better person to answer this kind of question, but honestly, insider, I won't be able to answer like how it is screened. But I know that while applying for the application, you do get an option to uh, notify that, yeah, I am a veteran in the space.
Okay, so um, I hope that answers your questions, Fernando. Now, on to Mega. Uh, the question
Right.
is, did you get calls through referrals along with studying? Did you consistently apply for job daily? Any tips on that?
Can you repeat the first part of the question again?
Do you get calls through referrals?
Okay. Yeah, I think referrals do have a weightage. So whenever a referral is possible, they do apply for those, at least for the big names, big companies. If you're applying for Amazon, Microsoft, Google, or any other companies like this, like big names, try to get for the referral. And I'm pretty sure that being in Seattle, you will find a referral for these companies, for sure. Uh, so you can divide your own thing. Like, how do you want to divide the certain companies into different tiers? No company is good or bad, but sometimes when you're applying for the jobs too frequently, it's not possible to get referrals for all of the companies, but major companies do get a referral. And consistently applying is important. As I was saying, that if you're actively in the market, you need a job in like next 2 to 3 months, I would say don't shy away of applying at least 10 jobs a day. Do apply for that. And there is a very good tool called Simplify. It's a Chrome extension that fills up the application for you. So once you fill in the detail in that extension, you don't have to fill in the application all the time. So it just automatically fills up for you, and you can start applying for the job easily, and it works for you. Uh, yeah, I think that is one tip I could say, like that help to fast track the application process itself. But yeah, I do get calls whenever there was a referral, but it is not the 100% like thing that will work all the time. You need to work on your resume, you need to work on your skill, and you need to show them you're worth it. Referral is just one way of getting ahead of other application, but still you will go through the eyes of the recruiter. They will see your resume. If you're eligible, only then you will get a call.
Thank you, Manshot. I think that extension thingy was a really good tip for
Mhm.
mass application. And
Yeah, it's
yeah,
very cool. I've
totally
seen that.
agree.
There is another job portal I can recommend, but honestly, so those are the so from that website, I only got kind of third-party job interviews, not the direct ones. So you will get the contractor jobs, so those kind of jobs, not the direct payroll. So there is a website called dice.com, I guess. So when I had my resume on the Dice, a lot of people like called me, but at some point it kind of got annoying because there were so many people calling, and those are the jobs that are not the direct payroll of the company. They will be the contractor job. But again, if you have nothing right, then those are not the bad options either. So if you're into a stage where you're not getting any call at all, you might want to give it a try as well.
All right. Thank you, Manshot. Um, is does anyone else have any other questions? Uh, okay, so I just have one last question for you. If that's the case, if no one else is going
Mhm.
for any questions,
Yeah, go ahead.
do you negotiate your salary with them in a way that kind of favors um, your hiring chances? Because I know that one could think of saying that, okay, you can pay me less for a better chance of employment. Should I do that? I'm just wondering.
Uh, no, that will not work in your favor, I think I would say. So most of the companies, they will ask you or they will negotiate with you only after you pass the interview, not before that. They don't want to
Mhm.
invest the time, like unless you have passed the interview. Only if you clear all the rounds, you are good to go for the higher, then they will negotiate. And at that time, why do you want to like go for the low if you already know you have cleared the interview? Only in the first initial call with the interview, they will ask for some of the recruiters, not all of them. If 10 people are calling you, out of two or three, they will ask you what's your expectations. And that is only to see if so every job role that they are hiring for have a pay range. So it's a range from this much dollar to this much dollar. So they just want to see, do you fit in that range or not? So for example, if you're already working and you're already earning very high salary or something, and if they are hiring for a particular role which is on the lower side, they will not consider, or you don't want to consider it either, right? But to your question, like, will it help me? Will it work in my favor if I go for the lower salary? Answer is no, because that will come only after you have cleared the interview. And if you have cleared the interview, I don't know who would want to go for the lower salary. You always want to aim higher.
That's fair, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one last question from Module Jagraga. Sorry if
Mhm.
I stumbled the name. Anyway, can you put the list of job portals on the chat that we should be looking at?
Yeah, I can send this to Harrison, so you can probably send it out because I don't see the option in the chat right now to initiate the chat. But to be honest, what I have done is I haven't used a lot. I haven't used so many like which are not known to anyone. So I've used LinkedIn a lot. So LinkedIn job portals, and then whichever company is hiring, I directly go to their job portal. For example, if Apple is hiring, I would directly go to the career portal of Apple. So where they can directly get the candidates. So because think of from the recruiter point of view, from the company point of view, so they have their internal tool and the external, all the websites and all. I think as a recruiter, if I'm working for a company, the first priority I would give it to my internal portal. As long as it works and it's working fine, I think that's the one thing that I would pay attention to. Uh, there is no fancy thing that I have used in my experience. The only one that I've used, told is dice.com. But again, not great, too many great roles on that website, but it's better to have nothing. So it's dice.com. But I'll share the list with Harrison definitely, and he can probably send out to all of you.
All right. So if anyone is interested, I will be um, leaving the resources being shared today in our chat. You can come back and visit this link in order to grab all the resources if you ever need. Okay, so the does anyone have any one last question for Manjot before we end our session today? That was a lot of Q&A.
No, that's good thought, right? Go ahead, ask your
Yeah,
questions.
that's why we're doing this.
Manjot, good luck in your new job and thank you for all this information.
Sure. Thank you, Morgan. Thank you for having me.
I think Jenny has a question.
I just
Oh,
said that, yeah, the flip. Yeah. Thank you. Good work.
nice. Okay, so I suppose that should be it for today. Thank you for joining with us and sharing your experience and your insight today, Manjot.
Mhm.
I wish you all the best moving forward.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for
Bye.
having me, and all the best for everybody for their job interviews.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming
Bye.
today.
Bye.